All right, so let's take a look at a interesting video. This one's going to be fun because it looks like we have the typical person up here.
To you, being a man of color, when exactly was America great? What period was America great? And if America was great.
Oh my God, she is really doing the typical thing of this type of person. We all know who that type of person is, and it has nothing to do with her race or, well, race and gender, maybe. But yeah, let's continue.
Right in that period, would you personally go back to it?
Would I go back to 2016 through 2020 in this country? I would, actually. I think America was great then.
And why do you think America was great?
Was America great for most of our national history? I think we were, actually. I think America was
during
great.
Slavery, during redlining, Jim Crow laws, civil rights movement.
I think, was America perfect? No. Was America great? Yes, it was, actually. Actually, I do think it was.
A very big extreme that you're jumping, because when exactly was America great? America is not great for the African American woman. America is not great for.
Here we go with the always wanting to be a victim, and I can pretty much tell the way this is going to go. She's going to continue to play in this victimhood mentality, and she just wants to be seen as the victim, so people have sympathy for her. And give her things. Like, she can't earn it like everybody else. She has to be given, just handed opportunities, which the world doesn't work that way.
I think there's.
Like what? Are we
can I ask you one question?
What exactly
What's your name?
I'm Felicia.
Felicia. What other country for an African American woman is better than the United States of America?
Well, I live in the United States of America, so
exactly.
I only want to talk about.
No shit. We all. Most of us watching live in the United States of America, so just saying that doesn't. How does that? There's no argument for that. That's ridiculous.
The United States.
Right, exactly. So what country? When I talk about whether America is great, I'm not talking about whether America is perfect.
Well, that's why I'm confused. Because when was America great for somebody like me? You just told me.
I think America's been great. Yeah, so I think America
great. You just told me where somewhere else that America was great.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just told me basically that it wasn't great.
But Vic is trying to answer her question, but she just keeps talking over him, and she can't close her mouth for 5 minutes or 5 seconds to let him answer the question. And that's typically what, that side of the aisle does. They just want to overtalk you, so you can't actually answer the question or get your point across. They just want to be right.
I think America is the greatest country on planet Earth for you. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Because this is a country where you can achieve the maximum of your God-given potential by working hard.
I am an African-American woman still facing institutionalized, systematic racism.
I don't believe that
yes, I am.
to be true right now. There are points in our history.
I'm sorry. In 2024, she's still feeling that? No, she's not. She just likes to say that and hear her talking points and hear everybody else's talking points when they have. She's barely been in the workforce long enough. Even if she has a job, she's on a college campus, I believe. She probably has no actual work experience, no experience in life yet, but she has seen so much systematic racism that allows her to be informed on this particular subject. I don't believe it.
Yes, I think today you are free to achieve.
I would like to talk about how people like to bring up affirmative action as well.
Well, let me just address your first point.
It really is.
I think this is the country on earth where you're able to achieve the maximum of your potential without your skin color standing in your way. This is a country where
that's not true.
I believe it is true.
That's not true.
What are you unable to achieve, ma'am? Felicia, what can you?
They literally all
what
of these
do you
other
wish to
banks
achieve?
just got sued for not giving home loans to African American people. That happened in 2024.
So let me just ask you, what do you
the so-called lower of the property value?
So let me tell you, Felicia.
And its ramifications
Donald Trump
when
is running
a certain somebody was president.
Donald Trump.
And to her point, I think that was more of an economic situation based on where people live, not based off their skin color. Because if you look at how that particular lawsuit was detailed, it had a lot more to do with geographic area and economic situation than somebody's skin color. So I think she might want to get her facts right.
Trump is running to make America first a reality for all Americans. Let me ask you something very personal, because
Yes.
you made it personal to you. What do you want to achieve in this country that you believe you can't right now because somebody else is stopping you because of your race?
All right, before we go on, I want to see how she actually answers this question. If she actually answers the question and not just gives some garbage like, a certain presidential candidate that, thinks she can't answer questions. But let's see here.
Well, right now, as my future career, I want to be a criminal defense attorney.
Okay.
However, as we can acknowledge, there is only 5% of black lawyers in the United States at this current moment.
What does that have to do with what he asked her? He asked her specifically, what is it that is holding you back? Not what the current state is. Okay, great. There's only 5%. How many black people apply to law schools to be criminal defense attorneys or go on to do careers in that? That's what we have to look at. She's stating a fact of what the current state is based off of historic. You're basing your argument off what happened here and how we got to here in this time, but not the question he's asking you about what you can do basically from here forward. That doesn't make any sense. She's stuck on history, and a lot of these people do that. They stick on these historical points and not reflecting on what's currently happening or what they can do and change in the future. And ultimately, it's up to her to determine where she goes. But she wants to play the victim and have people feel sorry for her for no reason. Nothing is holding her back. Well, something's holding her back, but it is not what she think it is.
My question is, what are you unable to achieve? Because I think you can achieve that. I believe in you. I believe in you to achieve that.
I'm just saying, why is that the case?
And the numbers, because I believe the number one factor.
Why is that the case?
I believe the number one factor that determines whether you succeed in this country is not your skin color. It is whether or not you actually put in the effort to do what you want.
Yeah, but if you're fighting against an institutionalized system that's going to hold you down, how exactly can you go against that?
I think that there is far greater discrimination in this country by employers against employees on the basis of their political beliefs than there is on the basis of their race.
They don't know your political
I actually think
beliefs
that
unless you express them.
Well, that's if somebody.
Not true, because I will automatically say, well, not automatically. I can honestly say that a lot of times, if you're white in this country, they automatically think, or if you look a certain way, or if you don't identify with a certain group, you automatically are a right-wing Trump supporter. So they automatically put you in that category. And I can speak specifically that black people do this. I am black. I mean, obviously my family background and friends and people I interact with, they automatically think you're a Trump supporter. Put a white person in a more, ethnic area of the city, they're automatically going to think you're a Trump supporter.
They don't know them. How are you being judged?
I would tell you, I worked in New York City for 10 years.
Yeah.
If somebody wears that red hat at Make America Great Again and walks in, they're going to face more discrimination than somebody who walks in with black skin. I think that's actually true.
No.
I think it's true, actually.
It
wasn't all.
Oh, yes, they will. Let them walk into a coffee shop wearing a Make America Great Again hat. They're going to get talked about. They're going to get asked ridiculous questions. They're going to get followed. They're going to get told to leave. Much more so than a black person walking in. So her argument is trash.
Always true. I mean, there's points in our history where the reverse was true, absolutely, but not right now.
I don't see you wearing a Make America Great Again hat, but what I'm saying is...
There you go.
All right. That's great, you did a costume change, but what I'm saying is, prior to that, you did not have that on. Prior to that, you didn't have that on. So me perceiving you, I'm perceiving you as a a man. I'm not perceiving you as a MAGA supporter, Trump supporter, XYZ. I don't perceive you as that until you tell me that is. So how can you say that somebody's being judged on their political views unless you make their political views known?
I can tell you why.
That doesn't make any sense.
I can tell you why. So I'll tell you a story of a woman. I'll tell you a story that you may not be aware of. All right. So there's a company where a woman, she was wearing a red sweater and held Veterans Day at every Friday to acknowledge veterans in her workplace. It was a little affinity group they created. That's what they called it. Now, there was an employee who said that he considered that to be a microaggression. The employer made her stop doing that.
Oh my God. Here we go with this microaggression BS. He considered that to be a microaggression. This is something that the left cooked up. I don't know how this became a thing, these microaggressions. It is so stupid. And the fact that the employer actually just went along with it and let this happen and play out is ridiculous. You might want to rethink where you work.
She said, okay, I'm just going to bring my red sweater and put it on Fridays on the back of my chair. The employer still stopped her from being able to do that too. That's political discrimination based on this an anti-racist environment we've created in America. So the irony is, in the name of fighting racism, we've actually created political. She lost her job. She would lose her job.
She could bring up the point, oh, she did her lose her job and this and that. But she just tried to make a point earlier that she's being discriminated against for whatever reason. But when he brings up somebody that was clearly discriminated against, she downplays it.
Unless she stops wearing a red sweater. I think it's wrong in America.
She was hired before that, though, so that means on the basis of they did not know what political.
She was about to be fired. She was about to be fired for standing for veterans.
Your whole argument was that you are.
There's viewpoint discrimination in America today.
There is, but my thing is, you are saying that you got discriminated against because, or this woman in this case got discriminated against because of her political views. No one knew her political views until she came in wearing red. You are making an assumption that because of her political views,
and I think she should be able to do that.
Fired her or because of they hired her because of her work ethic, because of her ability.
Let me just share something with you.
I don't know who this woman is, but
are you a senior?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior. And what are you doing for work next? You're going to do a criminal defense attorney? You're going to law school?
Yeah, right now I'm interning.
So let me just share something with you, not as a matter of politics, but it's a matter of somebody who. I'm 39. I've had success in this country. My parents came from nothing. I've lived the full American dream, and I'm really grateful for that. And this is where I'm coming from when I say this. I say this to you as a fellow citizen who wants to see you succeed in it.
I don't know what it is, but that image of her right there picking up that giant pink, what was that, a Stanley mug, and drinking it. Let me keep some of these thoughts to myself because I could go so deep with these.
Achieve your dreams. The more
you can clearly see she is not listening to understand. She is just listening to react and get her point across.
View yourself as a victim, the more likely you are to be one.
Woo, he couldn't.
The more you view yourself as empowered,
look at her.
The more likely you are to.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, but the image of her right there and the way she's looking, that's the image of I want to be a victim. And you can clearly see these people from a mile away.
Be empowered. I want you to be empowered. I don't want you to see a world in which there's some invisible lines of hierarchy based on race or gender and that you're being discriminated against, because the more you see the world that way, the more likely you are not to achieve your dreams. Versus if you look at the world and see the world that I see, and this is what America offers, to say that you have your own God-given talents. Mm-hmm.
Look at her. She is not even listening. All she do is want to react and to try to prove herself right. You can just see her facial expressions. This is someone that is always going to play the victim in their lives until they can actually understand that the world doesn't owe you anything. You owe yourself to make whatever you do possible.
How are you going to be able to achieve the maximum of your potential? I promise you, nobody is going to stop you in modern America because of your skin color. It's just not going to happen. Give me one. I would love to hear one example where you wanted to, where you tried to get a job and you couldn't get it because of your skin color. I'm sure that's true of people who lived in the 1950s. I'm sure it's true people live in the 1850s.
Now,
I'm also sure that doesn't exist today.
What you're telling me is that they are saying that I can't get a job based on my skin color. They're not going to outright say that because of different laws and policies in place, which is why the systemic racism is part of the conversation.
So look, I think that here's the thing. Here's the thing. In the 1960s, Martin Luther King said we want to live in a country where we're judged not on our color of our skin, but on the content of our character.
She'd be the very person to go online and cry because people don't agree with her and, you know, she has to be right all the time and I'm the victim and, Jesus.
And her contributions.
Yeah.
We are 60 years later in a promised land far greater than he could have ever imagined. We've elected a black president of the United States. We've had a black attorney general. We've had black.
Just because you try to talk over somebody does not mean that you're winning the argument.
Have the job.
So
they can't explicitly say that because they'll get sued. They'll get different legal ramifications. And that's where the intersectionality of the institutionalized systemic racism comes in.
So
because you can't blatantly say that. You hide behind policies and laws to say that.
Tell me if we can find some common ground, because that's my goal of being here. Do you agree with me? The best way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. Do you agree with me on that? Because I think that if you want to stop discrimination on the basis of race, let's stop discriminating on the basis of race. Can we agree on that?
Oh.
You want me to agree with it? You know what? Fine.
That's a very simple question. She could not let him be right about that because that is the correct answer. For some reason, she just could not. She's trying to fight it so hard, and that's crazy.
So at least we can agree that's a principle.
It's a loaded statement, but okay, it's a loaded statement.
So I think that part of and let me give you one. You gave me a little give. I'm going to give you one give too. All right. I'm going to give you one give too. I think that, and this may surprise a lot of people in the audience, but it's true, and I'm going to say it. In the last probably year, I think we have started to see something I never would have imagined seeing 10 years ago, which is the slightest uptick of actual anti-black racism in the country. And I'll tell you why we're seeing it.
How?
It's coming as a backlash to years of affirmative action. Because when you take something away from somebody on the basis of their skin color, there's no greater way to foster racism than to take something of value from somebody based on their skin color. And it's sad to see. I don't want to see that in this country, but the best way to get there is restore merit over group quotas. And I think there's no middle ground. Either you believe in merit or you believe in group quotas. You can't have both. I stand for merit, and I think that's better for Americans of every skin color, including black Americans as well. At my company, I found a multi-billion-dollar company. I had a black executive, okay? And I don't care about her skin color. It doesn't matter to me. I've had black executives at multiple companies I've built. I'll tell you a sad story that happened. She got her job because she was good at what she did, so I recruited her. A guy who wasn't particularly as good at his job didn't get the promotion to the position that she held. You hear the conversation, what do you hear? It says, oh, she only got her job because of her race and gender. Well, actually, in her case, that just wasn't true at all. But the reason he's able to say that is because most other companies in the industry are applying racial quotas to actually get those jobs. So it's not good for white Americans or Asians. It's not good for black Americans either. What we need is colorblind meritocracy in America. And affirmative action, I do think, is the biggest form of institutional racism that exists.
No, I'll agree with him on that. In the beginning, affirmative action was a good thing because it kind of forced companies to really look at candidates based off of merit and not necessarily excluding candidates based off of their skin color. Fast forward to 2024, yes, I do think it is a hindrance to black people and everyone else based off exactly by, what Vivek said, that they're using it as a tool to meet these, arbitrary quotas that they've cooked up to make themselves look good in the public eye.
Today, that's what I believe.
To you.
All right, so that's the end of that one. This girl had no argument that she could actually stand on, and people like her just want to play the victim. And I'm tired of her using skin color. I'm black, clearly, to make it seem like and to play the victim all the time, it makes me sick. It really does. But this is just another video showing you kind of how the left uses race to push their own agendas and not actually helping us and not actually helping us move forward. They just want to stay in that slavery mindset. And a lot of people think that way, and it's unfortunate. But thanks for watching.